Hi, my name is Dave Bader with Marine Mammal Care Center. Conservation is something that anybody can be a part of. Here's another conservationist that's working to make the world a better place.
I'm Milena Acosta, Community Engagement Manager from the Natural History Museums of Los Angeles County. My pronouns are she, her. As Community Engagement Manager for our museums, my job is to foster relationships with community-based organizations. Essentially, my job is focused on building a meaningful relationship with community groups in order to build a museum that moves us away from being really nice to have in the neighborhood to necessary for our community groups. Conservation is important to me because I feel that conservation is everyone's work. It's something that can seem very big and looming, but I don't feel that it has to be. I think that conservation can be something as small as the everyday actions that you take, who you support, and I think it's important to me because it's everyone's job, and I think it should be important to everybody. You know, my conservation work probably started pretty early on just for my deep love of nature. My family was very active in taking me out to the beach and to rivers, and if you go far north enough up into Azusa Canyon, there's rivers, and those are the rivers that I used to engage in when I was a young kid. We would go have a river day and set up kind of like a little day-long campsite and play in the water. And so my love of the ocean, my love of water started fairly early on, and it was my career trajectory to take me to marine science. And so I think, like with lots of other things, when you care about something, you want to protect that something. And so that's where my conservation work started. I think people should know that my work is pretty personal here at the Natural History Museum. Personal in that my job is really about fostering relationships with community-based organizations. So my role is to humanize the Natural History Museum, make this place some place that you could see just the people behind the work, the people behind the science that are working to preserve nature and you know, celebrate culture in Los Angeles. Yeah, conservation can feel big, or just the status of the world feels can be challenging, right, to process. I think I stay engaged or positive with just getting outside, getting into the water, snorkeling, that self-care and using nature for that self-care, I guess, is the best way to do it. And using these spaces in and around Los Angeles for bonding, right? Whether it be with family or friends, I think those moments of just being able to focus on oneself and, you know, just that mental breaking away from the consumption of news, of what's happening in the world, and just managing how much of that I take in is pretty important. I think the hardest part of my job is just feeling like I need more people to do this work, or maybe just more people that are like me doing this work. I think that we can inspire a lot of the next generation to get engaged in this, but I very often seem to be the only Latina in the room, or the only Spanish speaker in the room that is doing science, or marine science for that fact. So I think the hardest job is just waiting for that next generation to show up in the career of conservation, of marine science, of just this love and passion for our nature. Yeah, I think people can get involved in this work in just simple ways, and ways you might not expect. I think for me, one of the ways that I stay engaged is through my buying power, right? I make choices as a consumer to support locally, to support people of color that are here in Los Angeles producing. And so conservation can mean supporting nature groups that focus on this kind of really intentional work of preserving our natural world, but it also could mean just how you shop, how you buy, where you buy, and who you support. I think we all have needs, you know, to either furnish our homes or you know, buy food, and I think all those small choices, those everyday things that we do, is a really great way to channel in who we're supporting. So I would say primarily buying power. You have power, you have money to make change and support those groups that you feel are doing that kind of work. I think one of the beautiful things about the work that we do here is we welcome people in to be part of science. You could do science anywhere. You could do science in your backyard. Our community science program is a way that folks, just with something as simple as your phone, you could engage in that work, right? Start taking pictures of what you see, enter that into iNaturalist, which is a kind of worldwide database of the stuff that lives in this world with us. But I think the first thing that folks need to do is just start engaging and with the nature around them. And so there's lots of different ways to do that. And we also have obviously lots of summer camp programs and things that you can do. You can come here, you can explore nature, you can explore our exhibitions and get excited and learn more, and then take that stuff home with you and dive deeper into it. I'm Milena Acosta, Community Engagement Manager from the Natural History Museums of Los Angeles County. Thanks for taking the time to learn a little bit about my work and the study of nature and culture here in Los Angeles.